Welcome to the Adhocracy Show. On today's show,
Carl's Jr.'s new direction.
I'm so excited to talk about this.
I think I'm going to be sick.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm JD Melville.
And I'm David Landeen, and welcome to the Adhocracy Show, where we geek out about advertising, marketing, art, and design.
And thank you so much for joining us. Of course, the first thing we have to talk about, we are running a contest right now. The 100 for 100. We're about to hit our 100th episode.
Yes, we
which
are.
is exciting. We're about a month away.
Yep.
And we're celebrating with art, an art contest where we want to fill our back wall here with your beautiful art. We already have some pieces that were made for us. So you create a piece of art, any kind of art.
Yeah. So it goes like this. You subscribe. You create art. You like send it to us on the interwebs or internet or AOL online. I don't know.
Any of those.
Anyway, whatever you want. And then you share this with other people, because the more people that enter art, the more money you potentially could win.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're excited to celebrate with art because that's what we're all about. And, it could be about us. It could be not about us. It could be, look at our shows. It could be about an episode. It could be something that we love.
For a more in-depth description of what this is going to entail, just click on that little eye right there. That'll take you to that video. Anyway, so that's our contest. Now, today we are starting a new segment.
We are going to discuss an ad so much. We're just going to dig into it so deep that it'll probably make you sick. We're calling this Ad Nauseum. All right, if you haven't seen it, Carl's Jr. came out with a new commercial, and it's not just a commercial, it's a change in direction for the company.
They are rebranding, a complete rebrand than they've been doing since 2005. This is 12 years gone, and here's the new Carl's Jr. If you want to, you can just take a little break right now and go watch that commercial. Just click on the thing right there and go check out the commercial, because you're gonna want to see it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's got some great stuff. It's got Carl Hardy Sr., which is a made-up character. It's Carl's Jr. and Hardy's, which is their Southern Eastern person. This personality. He comes in, and Jr. is the son that,
Yeah, Junior is. I mean, it has a very. So I'm a Parks and Rec fan, so I see it as Entertainment 720.
Big D, hit me! Uh-oh! Come on!
Where they're like, just not working all play, like not doing anything. John Ralphio.
Like they're just spending money.
Yeah, they're free money. And then you have Carl Hardy Sr. that comes in, and the women in the commercial are excited. They are visibly excited that there's going to be a change. You see them.
That daddy's back to tear it down.
Yeah.
He's going to make a change, and they know. Which,
yeah.
I just think it's funny, because as I'm watching that, if it's that bad, why would you work there, right?
Well, okay, so I've been thinking about this, and here's my theory. I think the women were hired by Carl Hardy Sr.
They're super young, though. They would have had to be
Well, maybe Carl Hardy Sr. runs HR, or he hires HR people, and then he's just over the advertising. And so they're there's maybe they have really good medical.
It's the ping pong table in the lunchroom.
That's what it is. Maybe it's healthcare. Maybe the benefits are good enough. They're okay, well we'll stick it out. Maybe they just recently got hired on.
It's a great commercial, because there's just so much to it that they did right. They did so well with this.
Yeah, but one thing which is interesting is that this is a commercial that apologizes without taking responsibility.
Yeah.
They don't say, I don't know. They don't ever say we made all these commercials. They just got distracted.
Yeah, the way that he said it to he gave it to his son. His son
sowed his wild oats.
Sowed his wild oats, as young men are to do. So
but that may have been the right way of going about this. Rather than focusing on what they did, they're focusing more on what they're going to do.
Well, and this is sort of a problem that they set up and knocked down themselves.
Which is so interesting.
Like
they created the sexy ad. I mean, I guess Axe was doing it.
yeah.
You had Axe that was doing this as well.
And
but
it was kind of something during that time period that people normally, did quite a bit of. Like the sexy woman thing was a thing. And I mean, Axe has changed their tune.
They have as well.
And the interesting part is that this wasn't a change in agency. This is the same agency that had done this. There are some changes, and we're going to talk about those changes. But
Yeah.
I mean, they set up the sexy woman thing and then said, okay, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Who would do something like that?
Let's go back to...
This crazy teenage boy right here, he's the one that did it, not us.
Well, and I think it's interesting because their tagline, pioneering the great American burger, it's riding a political wave as well because, I mean, Trump's tagline...
You put great in America.
Yeah,
and
make America great again. This is all about us going back to our roots and being great.
Yeah.
So there are a ton of different reasons why you would make changes. There are a ton of reasons why you would make a change in this advertising. For example, the change in society.
Society has changed a lot since 2005.
It really has. Not only as the there's the marches on women's rights. There's a lot more of that stuff going on, and it sort of made an iffy situation on sexualizing women.
Well, and I think their last major commercial where they had, I mean, it was the one with the girl who looked like she was naked and you'd only see shoulders up, and then she...
Well, and even it was the farmer's market one.
The farmer's market one.
But even after that, they sort of started turning, because one of the last commercials I remember seeing was a sexy chef. It was a sexy chef who came out and he's eating a burger, and I remember because all the women in the room were like, oh yeah, finally, but I'm on the other side okay, you're doing the same thing. You're sexualizing a person,
So their ads don't advertise to the broad population. They advertise to one side or the other. So you're ostracizing 51% of your consumers. Either, I mean, one person loves it, one person hates it. It's not the best way of advertising.
Yeah, and knocking it down and making people feel uncomfortable about that is not a way to go. I mean, it definitely... if I'm for women's rights and doing those things and I see that, I'm going to go away from that. So it's possibly pushing even more than that 51% away.
Yeah. The consumer has changed a lot. You have a lot of people who are wanting to eat fresh ingredients, healthier,
more organic, less GMOs.
You have to understand your consumer that it's not that they don't want the giant greasy burger. I mean, maybe they do.
I definitely want that.
Yeah, but you also want it with unfrozen beef, which McDonald's and Wendy's have just started doing campaigns about that.
Yeah, because Wendy's has been doing that for a long time.
McDonald's is jumping on board.
And of course, Wendy's made fun of McDonald's, if you didn't see that. And that's the thing. You've got other companies that have popped up, like Shake Shack and Five Guys, that's their thing, is these new fresh ingredients from local places that are better and not just mass produced.
There, in a way, this is a great example. This whole commercial is a great example of advertising to two audiences at the same time. You advertise the flame broiled beef and this is, and then you also advertise the fresh ingredients. You have bacon on everything, but we also use really healthy things, and you have they did a great job of knowing their audience and putting things in the commercial that both audiences would want to hear.
Yeah, and it's still the same audience. I mean, dudes are known for eating big greasy burgers. I mean, I've gone to barbecue places and you can count the amount of women in there on one hand. Not that women don't love these things, but that is still their market target. And for a commercial that is knocking down and putting, this burgers not boobs, there was quite a bit of naked women. I mean, they showed it. They showed it by still knocking it down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's not much more they could show. That's all they really have in their marketing.
It's true. That was all the pieces they
had.
I
was thinking, how would this have been received differently? How would the tone be different if it wasn't Dad coming in? If it was Mom? If it was
Carla Hardy
coming
giving
in,
a mom talk. pulling his ear.
Yeah, you know. And
How do you think this makes me feel?
I kind of want to see that. Like, I kind of want him to do another one where, like, you know, he gets distracted again, and then Carla comes in and like 72 and Sunny. If you're watching this,
Carla.
thank you. But you should do a Carla Hardy one.
Carl and Carla.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious. And, you know, it's funny. Brian Regan actually just was on the Tonight Show, and he did a whole bit on how Palestine and Israel, like, what they really need. Like, we've done war. We've done, like, all these different things. What they need is a good dad. Like, a dad can go in and solve anything. I want that. No, I want that. It's mine. Well, how about if it's none of yours? Learn to share. Tomorrow's going to be a great day. Let's move on.
And they have a great dad in this commercial. They do a really good job.
Yeah. I mean, he's an actor. The son is a comedian. It's
such a good job. All right, another change in management. Mm-hmm. There was a major change in management, as in like the CEO of Carl's Jr. stepping down.
Yeah.
So then that's Andy Pudzer. Pudzer. I keep wanting to say Pudzer. Pudzer.
He you may have heard his name. He was trying to be the nominee for the labor secretary. He didn't get enough votes, so that didn't go through.
No, I'm not sorry. Stepping down CEO, and in a somewhat satirical tone, he said, "We believe in putting hot models in our commercials because ugly ones don't sell burgers."
And he was known for always supporting these. I mean, he said that these commercials saved the company. You know, they got the attention, they got the things that it made a splash, and it really did. The commercials were definitely big and splashy, and it got a lot of attention on both sides, right? I mean,
yeah, it did. It did. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit.
Another change that happened was their general creative team, Justin Hooper and Mick Maria. Is it Maria? DeMaria. They have hard names.
Yeah, that's it. That was probably their real problem.
About a year ago, they announced that they were leaving. It was kind of at least in the press conference and everything, they said that they were parting ways. They're on good terms. They're moving on. They were the ones that came up with this stuff. And, you know, 72 and Sunny, they said, you know, these guys have done great work for us. There's a lot of awards they won. They did great work on these different accounts. And we're excited to see where they're going. But they're leaving as well. So they were kind of maybe the pushing force behind this.
But you know what? Like, making an ad that gets attention is different than making an ad that is really, like, that does the job it needs to do, which is, you know, selling the product or whatever. And so attention versus efficacy is something that should be talked about, because they made, like, their first commercial was 2005, is Paris Hilton.
Right.
And since then, most of their commercials have been along those same tones.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that they did get attention. They got a ton of attention. I mean, they had Ronda Rousey, the fighter, Top Chef host Padma Lakshmi, Kate Upton. They even had a crossover with X-Men and Mystic, where she's holding a burger and then she turns into the scruffy man and it says, "Man up, who hungry?" And then they even did one with Kim Kardashian, when, you know, they're kind of taking the turn with fresh ingredients and salads, and it was Kim Kardashian like sexily eating salad with her hands. It was the cranberry apple walnut chicken salad.
Yeah, well, you know.
So, I mean, they definitely made a splash, and when they would come out with a commercial, it definitely had, you know, two like a definite split. People who are like, all right, I'm going to go buy, or maybe not buy, I don't know. And then people who would react to that and be like, oh, this is, you know, they'd go into depth, and
those who loved it would talk about it. Those who hated it would talk about it.
Yeah, and I mean, on either side, you've created more and more PR for the company. If you hated it, you write a big old blog and rip it down and have lots of people read it, you had a lot of people reading it.
Yeah, and so,
but that's the thing is
do you want your commercial?
Effective?
Yeah, do you want your commercial to get attention? Do you want your commercial to be effective?
Yeah, because along with this is, you know, with all these different blogs, there were also ad scores and other researches that happened on the company, on their efficacy, on what they're doing. And really what they were finding was that coupons kind of brought people to Carl's Jr. and these ads made some people uncomfortable and were just eye candy for some people.
Well, and I also have to wonder, and I have no idea if this is true or not, but I mean, okay, so Carl's Jr. and Hardee's are two separate, like they're the same company, but they're branded differently.
CKE is the parent company.
Yeah, so Hardee's is East Coast,
Southern East Coast,
and Carl's Jr. is West Coast, and so here in Utah we have Carl's Jr. But I don't know if they branded Hardee's the same way as they branded Carl's Jr. Like, did they have Carl's Jr. ads that, like, you know, the sexy girl and then it end? Or did they brand them differently and they kind of were able to do A/B tests and have found out, like, hey, marketing this way is actually getting more people and more audience engagement than marketing this way. So we're going to do this is why we're doing the turnaround. Like, if it had gone the other way, would you see, like, you know, Dad, like, sitting there at the computer, like a typewriter, typing out something, and then the kid goes, "Hey, Dad, what are you doing? Let's put some sexy girls in the commercial." Like, you know, I don't know.
Maybe.
So
well, and maybe our last reason for change was that not everyone was on board.
No,
there were disagreements within the teams, within the connection of 72 and Sunny and Carl's Jr. Not everyone was on board with this direction, and so the change definitely, you know, is flipping it in a whole new way. And so there was a lot of things that they did right.
There's a lot of things. It felt like an Old Spice commercial. Old Spice broke advertising. We'll do an episode about that someday. But everybody's kind of trying to copy them. And most of the time, when they copy them, it feels like an Old Spice commercial without, like, but there's no reason for it.
Yeah, and the thing that made the Old Spice commercial great was not that it was just goofy and they did all these stunts and they all did it in one take. I mean, that stuff's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But what was really interesting about it was the research behind it and the things that they were setting up and the ways that they were changing. I mean, they had done the goofy kind of odd commercials way before that.
Yeah.
But this one, you know, the research showed women bought the deodorant, so they were talking to the women. And so it brought in a new element. They did this right. I mean, this is real to them, where, like you're saying, other commercials that try the whole Old Spice talking head, da, 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 I'm the smart, sexy guy, you love my product. They're doing it wrong because that's the only thing that they're taking from it.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, advertising's weird and goofy.
It's flash, not substance.
Yeah.
Where this, what was cool about this was a 3-minute video.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like that. I remember the first time I saw it, I thought it was like probably a minute long, and go back and like, that was 3 minutes. It went by so fast. You got so much information. The characters are so awesome and so engaging that you wanted to keep watching. Then you would watch it again.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt with the Old Spice commercials. When it came out, I was like,
definitely.
I want to watch this.
The pace of it just
so much
moves.
More. Yeah.
One of the other things that's really great about this is that there is a clear message and they've repeated it. I mean, everything that they show and do in this commercial is based on their strategy of what they're doing, pioneering the Great American Burger. We're going away from the sexy models to fresh ingredients. That, like, the whole thing, not only are they saying it,
but they're showing it.
The first thing that comes in, and he points to the model in front of the fresh ingredients where her clothes blew off because it was a windy day. They take that down and put up a nice looking burger.
Mm-hmm. Which literally was burgers, not boobs.
Yeah, yeah. Later, the kid's like, yeah, this is what I've been talking about. Burgers, not boobs. Like, everything. They're stripping away this fancy, sexy stuff that doesn't really need to be there. They're growing up. They're going back to what made them real and big. I mean, every little action. You know, they showed Junior's car, which is flashy and hot red, and
yeah.
But here's the dad's car. It's black. It's sexy. It's American.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that they did really pointed towards that. And
they set themselves apart. They did those unique things that make them. I mean, the drive-through. I don't know if that's true or not. If they invented the drive-through, that's awesome, and they actually should have been kind of playing up that a little bit more throughout their marketing. If they really been this pioneering company, like, that's something that they definitely should be doing. This was a great example of how to rebrand your company.
Yeah.
You start a narrative, you tell a story, you make it like, this was a fake story. This was fiction.
Yeah.
But you want it to be real. I want this to be the reason. I want this to be the way it came down.
And I don't know if, the strategy would be right to set up like a wrong image, but maybe something because what they did is the company, like, you know, those ads set up this sexy girl thing, and then they, you know, them knocking it down, like, that's wrong in our time. I don't know if you really could have done that like mechanically, like, like, okay, in 20 years, women's rights, they're going to do marches, Trump's going to be in presidency. Let's do the sexy thing, girl, and then 20 years later we'll be like, oh no, like I don't know that you can really do it.
But... Well, maybe that's like they're gonna be the next commercial. Is like, you know, Junior is like in there. But Dad, I knew this was gonna happen. I did these commercials on purpose because I knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah, spinning it his way. But yeah, they're coming back to their, you know, what sets them apart, what makes them unique. The drive-through, bacon and absolutely and just about everything. The made from scratch biscuits. They've always talked about how their chicken, their meat, their everything that they have is fresh. It's not GMO. It's organic. It's grass fed.
There's a time to bring that up. Now is that time. They're doing a lot more though. So in this rebranding, they actually changed. If you didn't notice, they changed their logo.
Yeah. They, you know, not only are they saying they're going to make a change and they're showing funny ways to do it, they're making this real. So they stripped away the red, just like, you know, they're taking away the car,
all the
flash of it, and it's black and yellow. Very nice rebrand. It's still their branding. It's still the logo that you would recognize, but
it's more adult.
Yeah, and it makes me feel like Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings has that branding, and it's adults going to watch football, adults eating food there. It's definitely coming of age and stripping away that red. I mean, the star had the little smiley face. Yeah. It's not cutesy. This is the great American burger.
Yep. And then Twitch. So on Twitch, they're doing what's called the Purge.
Yeah.
So
Saturday they did this Purge.
Yeah. And so Twitch is a streaming. It's like YouTube. Everything's like a streaming, but it's mainly gamers. Gamers are the ones, and which is
so you can go and watch people like playing a game and how they attack.
Yeah, they can pet kitties.
But they did this the Purge, which is a stunt that they did, and they did it with the slow-mo guys,
which is a YouTube channel where they film everything in slow motion. It looks amazing.
Everything looks amazing in slow-mo. And so they're actually burning these old relics of advertising and of...
These are Junior's old things.
Yeah, these are the things that they need to purge to be good and right. And this includes like 900 gallons of flammable tanning oil, a crate of bikinis, old cases of Junior's meat cologne. They burn all these things. And the cool thing is that they allowed people to kind of talk about and like come in and interact and say how they wanted it destroyed, which made for a very interesting.
Yeah.
So again, they're making it real, you know, and they're also talking to the right people. Twitch, you know, young, hungry men, you know, becoming more adult, you know, more adults are gaming and things like that. So they're talking to the right audience, but they've made this real. Yeah. This fake thing that has actors and has, you know, this is an actual thing that they're doing, which really makes it feel bigger, better, grander.
I feel like agencies need to be studying this rebrand because, I mean, this isn't new. Like, companies rebrand themselves all the time. Companies change direction. Companies change leadership. But I feel like with this one, the difference is that they had a very clear message and they were very upfront about their rebranding, which is funny because they were very upfront in a fictional way.
Yeah.
But you knew how they were going to rebrand and you were happy about it. They an apology letter without admitting that they did anything.
Well, and they're building on the advertising that they had done before, even if it is like the burnt ashes of that before that they had done. Like, it's so incredible.
So good. Good job, 72 and Sunny.
We appreciate that wonderful work.
If you ever need ideas, you know, obviously if you watch this, like, we have tons.
If you need a new creative team, we're here.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have Justin Hooper and Mick DeMaria anymore, but you could have David Landeen and JD Melville. I mean, we're pretty smart. We have a YouTube channel.
So what did you think of this Ad Nauseum, our first segment? We want to do more of them. If you have an idea for an Ad Nauseum, put it down in the comments below. Join us over on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Let us know there, and we'll do an Ad Nauseum on it.
Yeah. Make sure you head over to that contest, the art contest. You know, do a doodle, submit it to us. Who knows? You could win $100. Why not? Or you can do like a lot more than a doodle too. Make sure you subscribe if you liked what you saw here. And thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting on this video.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And to send you off, we're going to give you a little more Carl Jr. because we didn't have enough in this ad nauseum to make you sick about it. So here you go.
You still talk to Stacy?
Yeah, finally replied to my DM.
Where are you, babe?
We're over here next to the barn.
I'm about to pet this cat right here.
Let me pet that cat.
Where's the cat?
Hey, David, get over here. The cat's over here by the silo.
Oh, wow. Wait, I'll be right over. Wait,
Yeah,
which
nice
way?
kitty.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, you're a good kitty.
Oh, yeah, nice kitty. Oh, it scratched me.